We're now being joined by Michael Chandler. We will get these questions started with Steve June. Your line is live.
Michael, thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And I want to know right off the bat, because there is such a weird dynamic between you and Benson Henderson. He says that he respects you. He respects what you've accomplished in Bellator. He respects you for adopting a child, but he doesn't like you. What does that mean to you when a fighter says they respect you, but they don't like you?
It's interesting. I think the funny thing about me and Benson is I think we stand for a lot of the same things. You know, I think you know, our values are in line. I think the way we see the world in a lot of ways is very similar. I respect him a ton as well. I love that when we did an interview a couple of weeks ago or whatever, he had his kids crawling all over him. And it's just, he's a family man. He's a fighter. He's been able to take his wrestling background, turn it into world championships and hopefully legacy type of money to be able to take care of his family, provide for his family for the next however many decades. It doesn't matter. You know, I think the funny thing is you can't really like someone too much when you're about to compete against them or when you know you're going to compete against them. Let's be honest. Benson Henderson signed with Bellator. We fought. I beat him. Since then, he's known that we were going to fight again. So knowing that you're going to have an impending bout eventually also guards your heart a little bit from thinking too highly of anybody. So doesn't bother me either way, whether he likes me, dislikes me, hates me, or loves me. We got to step into the cage. So let's go.
Well, speaking of that rematch happening eventually, you called for it the moment that fight was over when you defended the world title successfully, but he had that great 5th round against you, and it was a split decision when it went to the judges. So do you look forward to proving your point with this rematch?
I do. You know, you just gotta know how to beat Benson Henderson. The first fight taught me exactly how to do that. Watching his last couple fights has taught me exactly how to do that. So Friday night, I'll show you guys exactly how to do it in a dominant fashion. And yeah, I just don't know how anybody could have scored that for him. I don't know how anybody could score anything more or anything less than 3-2 me. But either way, it's not about the judging. It's about me going out there and getting my hand raised.
All right. Final question for you, Michael. You mentioned legacy a little bit earlier. What is going to be your legacy after this Benson Henderson fight?
I don't know, because legacy is just constantly in motion until I'm done with this fight career. I've been extremely blessed with a very well-enabled body. I think I have another 5 years left in me, at least, if not 7 years. I feel great. I love the sport of mixed martial arts. I love what I'm doing. I love I love the lifestyle I get to live. So for me, my legacy is constantly in motion. You know, as of right now, if my fight career ended after this fight, I'd be the most decorated Bellator fighter of all time. I'd be involved in one of the best symbiotic relationships between a fighter and a promotion that there ever has been in mixed martial arts. Bellator is who they are because of the performances I've put on for them, and I am who I am because of the promotion and the platform and the bright lights that and the opportunity that Bellator has given me. So got a lot left to keep on proving at this legacy of who I am, and what I'm all about.
Our next question will go to Steven Morocco.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hello? Okay, great. Mike, is it just about hitting a certain number for you to stay with Bellator after this fight?
It's an interesting question. You know, I mean, obviously, numbers are very important. We fight for money. We are prize fighters. So we'll see. There's a couple different factors that you got to look at. Obviously, I've made it no secret. I'm extremely happy with my career thus far, and extremely happy with my decision every single time to stay with Bellator, re-sign with Bellator. So we'll see if that happens again.
Have you negotiated at all prior to making the decision, I'm going to go into free agency?
A little bit. We spoke months ago, and we started talking around about ballpark figures. And then the pandemic happened and all that, things got busy. And either way, I wasn't chasing, we weren't chasing Bellator down to try to get a deal done necessarily. If it was going to get done, it was going to get done. And they wanted to keep me. They would have to, make me an offer. And here we are. Got to fight Friday night.
And when do you think you'll make that decision? Does it just depend on what happens on Friday night? Or have you said, like, I'll get back to you at X time, or, X will happen before we talk?
Well, I think the X is this fight happening before we talk. I think I'm going to go. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to go out there and put a dominant performance together. I'm going to get my hand raised Friday night. I think I'm going to be hanging out here at the casino and maybe grabbing a pizza or something. And because I haven't, let the diet hang out at all for the last 12 weeks. I'm going to be sitting around with my favorite people in the world, my teammates and my closest of kin. And I think I'm going to be getting, maybe a phone call from Bellator to start talking. And maybe we'll have some talks before I leave Uncasville, Connecticut. Maybe we won't. So we'll see what happens.
How's your son doing?
He's doing awesome. Awesome, but he misses dad, These last 12 weeks as a fighter have been absolutely phenomenal, but as a fighter, as a father and a husband, it's been tough, being away from my son. He's old enough now to know that daddy has to go to work, and that, he's old enough to know that daddy needs to be there. Daddy should be there. So to be away from him and be away from my wife, my two favorite people in the world, it was extremely hard, but all the sacrifices are going to come to a culmination, and all be worth it when I get my hand raised on Friday night.
Your teammate Kamaru says he has a favorite ritual of getting Thai food with his daughter. Do you have a favorite post-fight ritual with your son and your wife?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we go to True Food. We eat at this restaurant called True Food all the time. I mean, we love going out to eat. We love taking him to different places, getting him socialized, showing him all the city we live in, taking him on vacations. Definitely a vacation is in the works. I don't care if there's travel bans or not. We're gonna figure something out. The Chandlers are going on vacation after this. My wife deserves it. My wife deserves to be sitting on a beach somewhere, or she deserves to be surrounded by some palm trees somewhere, for all the hard work she puts in, plus all the support and service that she shows me every single day. So a Chandler vacation needs to happen ASAP. And I definitely love Thai food, and we eat Thai food often as well.
All right. Well, best of luck on Friday.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. We have time for one more question. We'll go to Ben Kiley. Your line is live.
Hi, Michael. So obviously this is the last fight of your contract. Just if promotions and contracts weren't a barrier, who would your dream opponent be? Like, would it be Khabib? Would it be the trilogy with Eddie Alvarez? Would it be the rematch with Pitbull? Well, what would who would be top of your list if there was no barriers?
It's hard. I mean, yeah, when you think about barriers, or you think about just different things, you fight Khabib because he's the number one guy in the world. You fight Eddie because you cap off the trilogy. But really you fight Conor because it's the biggest fight with the most eyeballs, So there's those different kind of 1A and 1B. I would also love that Pitbull rematch. I think obviously that fight ended very quickly. I zigged when I should have zagged. He caught me, and I believe I'm a better fighter on any given night, and I beat him 9 times out of 10. He just caught me that one time. So I'd say those would be my four fights that I'd really like to get.
And you've had some tough loss in your career. You went on a tough skid, but you always come back from it. You always bounce back. How do you where do you get that mental fortitude to come back from a tough loss, or come back from a tough losing streak? And how do you overcome the fear of failure?
I think that was the thing, fear of failure is the most poisonous drug you can ever take in your entire life. Being afraid to fail. And then once you have a failure, trying to run as far away from that failure as possible. And I think that's what I did. I hid myself. I was up for Fight of the Year. They wanted me to come to the World MMA Awards and present an award and accept my award for Fight of the Year. And I didn't go. And I was getting calls from all these different media, all the big name medias. And I said, no. And I just hid myself. You got to put yourself out there for all the world to see, because if you fail while daring greatly, you're only going to get criticism for the critics who are sitting on the sidelines. And I realized that during that skid. I realized that kind of long ago, that you never get criticism from people that are above you. You only get criticism from people that are behind you or below you. And a lot of times you are your own worst critic, and your inner dialogue, your inner talk is the most detrimental things that you can hear in your entire life. So for me, it's also just realizing how truly blessed I am to have 2 capable hands, 2 capable arms, 2 capable legs, to be able to go out there and perform in front of millions of people and do something not a lot of people get to do, that's inspiring, that's uplifting, that is a metaphor for life. Fighting in a cage for a living is a metaphor for life, and I'm painting a masterpiece every single time I step into that cage. So it's a wonderful, beautiful blessing of a life that I get to live, and to give anything less than my best, or to ever quit, to ever see failure as an option, or ever see quitting as an option, would be to squander those gifts that I've been given. So I just kept going, and here I am.
And one last one for me. Will your son be watching, and does he understand that you're kind of that you use fighting as a metaphor for life, and the lessons that you want to teach him through fighting?
He won't be watching. He'll be sleeping. But And even if he was awake, or even if it was before his bedtime, we wouldn't have him watch, I don't think. He doesn't really watch it much. But I wrote a letter to him the other day, talking to him about how someday he will understand the sacrifices that his dad had to make to provide for him, to provide for his mom, my wife. And he'll understand that men have to go to work. He'll understand that men have to put their work boots on. No matter what form or what fashion, we were put on this earth to do some amazing things and to pour our heart into our passions. And he's going to see he's going to see someday through YouTube and through the videos and through my documentary that I'm putting together, and through one of my best friends, Drew, who we've put together so much of my career on the screen through the camera lens. That someday he'll be able to watch this masterpiece, and hopefully he'll know who his dad is, not because of what I told him, not because I said I was this or I was that, but because of the people that I was around, or my legacy amongst fans, or the people that I came into contact with, or people that I worked with, would say, your dad is a great man and a great competitor because of X, Y, and Z. I don't want to have to tell him. I want other people to say it. And that's my goal every single day. I realized the day that I held him for the first time and made a promise to him that I was going to take care of him for the rest of his life, that was my number one mission in life, to show him that he is going to love because he was first loved, and that he was going to achieve and aspire and be a man of integrity because that was the example that I tried to set for him.